While Bond fans around the world are celebrating the release of First Light, the first major piece of Bond media in years, I've decided to speak about two Bond films that are amongst the silliest and most controversial. In recent years, both have gone through something of a re-evaluation amongst fans, but which is better, Moonraker or Die Another Day? Moonraker was Roger Moore's fourth Bond film. It's well established that the next Bond film after the successful The Spy Who Loved Me wasn't supposed to be Moonraker. It was originally going to be For Your Eyes Only. But due to the unprecedented success of Star Wars, Albert Broccoli decided to cash in and make Bond's attempt at the genre. People have critiqued this over the years, but the Bond series has always hopped on trends to stay relevant and to turn a healthy profit. Moonraker took the camp exploits of The Spy Who Loved Me further by taking James Bond into space. For all of the criticism of Bond going into space, the film handles it pretty well. It's tense and exciting and works well as a climax to the film. The really silly stuff is earlier in the film, such as the gondola chase sequence. This stuff is pretty poor. Not only does the sequence go on for far too long, but it also adds little to the film apart from boredom and mild irritation. It's like something out of a parody. The space stuff, as established, is fantastic. Whether it's the set design, Michael Lonsdale, Roger Moore, or John Barry's superb score, Moonraker is a lot of fun. I don't think it deserves the hate it sometimes gets, despite some shoddy moments. It can feel dated, much of the enjoyment stems from 70s pop culture references. However, the sequences in space still hold up really well, and of course, Moore is excellent. He has comfortably settled into the Bond role, and he is totally easing the part, and oozes charm and confidence. So, how does Pierce Brosnan's fourth and final Bond film stack up? Die Another Day is a tricky film to assess. The opening stuff in North Korea and Bond's imprisonment is pretty cool. Aside from the terrible title track that is, Bond being on his own with no MI6 support is great. It doesn't feel like a rehash of License to Kill, it has a different feel to it. Brosnan, of course, is great, but to be expected. Like Moore, he oozes charm and confidence. The issues with Die Another Day arrive with the not-so-subtle callbacks to Bond films of old. A few references here and there are fine, but not to the extent that it dominates the entire film. The latter stages of the film are a bizarre mixture of a rejected Austin Powers script and a remake of Goldfinger and Thunderball all rolled into one. There are aspects of this film that I do like. Bond being singled out and outcast by MI6 and his lone mission is great, as mentioned. The Q branch scene is entertaining. John Cleese feels more like his own Q and is starting to step away from being too heavily compared to Desmond Llewellyn's iconic Q. Unfortunately, we never get another proper Brosnan-Cleese Q branch scene, but this was a nice little scene. The props behind are also references to past Bonds, and while some are a bit overbearing, most of them are fine nods to the past. Die Another Day is a seemingly impossible film to truly work out. The stuff in the first 20 minutes or so is pretty good, and largely reflective of the darker direction Brosnan wanted. The rest of the film is hit and miss. Die Another Day feels a bit like a franchise running out of creative energy. I understand why people are nostalgic for this film. It is fun. Moonraker is better, because while it is true it shares many story beats with The Spy Who Loved Me, by and large it stands out as its own film. It seems more consistent with the tone, it's silly throughout most of the film. Die Another Day starts off on a pretty serious note and quickly becomes over the top. I don't blame the producers, Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson, for going down this route for Die Another Day. It was very much the way a lot of films were at the time. But which do you prefer, Moonraker or Die Another Day?